Today, dear friends, we're joining the dark side. I mean, how cool would that be? But that's actually not why we're here today. Today, we're learning a new technique that will really step up your videos and your photos, and that is to shoot shadow side. When I first started shooting on the shadow side, also known as the negative side, I thought like it can't make that much of a difference, right? But it was a huge difference, and I just wish I knew about it sooner. We're gonna start this off by showing a few examples from Hollywood movies where they shoot on the shadow side. And I bet you that in the future you're gonna think about how common it is to shoot on the shadow side.
Dylan, for the record, mentalism, it's never accurate.
I didn't know they take SATs in China.
They don't. I wasn't talking about China.
It's what Mom and Dad used to say.
Agent Hubbs, right?
Where am I?
You're in a recovery room in New York City.
So what are the reasons to shoot from the shadow side of the subject? Well, for me, it's about two things. The first one is about creating more interesting shadows in a person's face, just like this interview setup. If we would have our light source right in front of our character, the lighting would be very flat and the shadows would disappear. The second reason is that it just looks more dramatic. Again, like 80 or 90% of all Hollywood shots are shot on the shadow side. So if you do it in your videos will look more cinematic or Hollywood-like. And while we're on this topic, I was thinking that we can talk about something called backlighting. And this is simply when you have your light source behind your subject, either a little bit to the side or right behind them. And depending on how strong your light source is, this creates sort of an edge glow around your subject, also known as a rim light. And it's just a beautiful way to sort of separate your subject from the background. And backlighting can be used by itself with a single light source, or it can be used to complement other lights like the key light. Another reason to use backlighting is because it creates really soft shadows on your subject's face. For example, I usually use backlighting whenever I'm shooting in sunlight, because that's a very strong, small light source. Well, not small, but compared to where we are, it becomes small. Anyway, it creates very harsh shadows on your subject if the subject is facing towards the sun, and it just looks gross. So a great way to work around this is to simply rotate everything and have the subject stand between the camera and the sun. And voila, you just created a very nice image with minimum effort. The last thing we need to talk about before we wrap this up is, of course, flares. It just looks so nice and dreamy, and the only way you can achieve it is if you shine a light into the lens, aka you need some backlighting. And this can of course be achieved by using any type of backlighting, but the most natural one and the best looking one, if you ask me, is to use the sun and get those sun flares. It just creates those warm, feel-good vibes, but it does it in a very natural way. Now, I really hope that you enjoyed this episode, and if you haven't been shooting shadow side before, I think it's time you start doing so, because... Hi guys, I just wanted to add one thing, because Dum there forgot about it, and that is that you don't always have to shoot on the shadow side, of course. Usually this is used for when you have harsh lighting, or when it's visibly clear that there is a brighter and a darker side. Also, again, this can be a very dramatic effect, so if you're going for a commercial or a video with a happier, more neutral vibe, you can of course shoot on the bright side, also known as the positive side. Or you simply need to show something more clearly, so it needs light. So don't take this whole thing about shooting on the dark side as a rule, as something you have to do, because it's up to you. I just really like this effect because I think it looks more filmic, that's all. It's really a minimum effort, maximum impact type of technique, and of course we like those. Now, if you have any questions or opinions on this, just let me know in the comments or ask away in the Facebook group, and I will see you in the next one. We're joining the dark side.
It's raw.